In this quick video guide, we're gonna see how we can export a landscape from Blender, and we can use the landscape generator, which is a really handy tool, and then how we can import it in Twinmotion and continue our work for the visualization and the rendering and applying the materials, editing the landscape, sculpting and painting, and so on. Now this is a new scene in Twinmotion, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna eliminate everything or delete everything because we already will bring a landscape, and that's the only thing we're gonna work in this video guide. Then if you're interested, you can check a Twinmotion video course or the Blender video course in the channel. So this is Blender right here. Also here, I'm gonna start with a default scene, a generic scene, and I'm gonna delete everything that is inside. Now, first of all, I'm gonna change the language here. So I'm gonna go to preferences and change it from Italian into English, which is right here. And also let's go in the add-ons and let's make sure that the landscape tool is actually on. So the checkbox here should be marked, and then you can use the landscape tool in Blender. So I'm gonna get rid of these other objects that I don't need. I'm just gonna leave one single object to make sure that I don't export some not unuseful stuff. And let me go to add mesh, and here we need to look for the landscape, and there it is. So you click on that and it's going to generate the first landscape, which is the standard one. Now the beauty of this tool in Blender is that you can use presets if you don't want to spend time like generating different type of landscape, and you can go here, you have a lot of presets. Now I already explained how to use the landscape tool in another video guide. So here I'm just going to use the river preset. So you can see it added a landscape and a river, so a plane for the water and the landscape itself. So we have two different objects. Now we can work with the water directly in Twinmotion. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna scale this up because this is usually really small when you create it with the landscape. So you can see it's kind of 10 meters. So I want this really big, like perhaps 1000 meters, in order to use it properly in Twinmotion. So make sure you scale it here a little bit. And for the Z, you can set up, like, let's say 100. And if it's too much, we can adjust it. So, depending on how steep you want these river margins. And don't worry about the camera cut. That's something you need to adjust in Blender, but I'm gonna go quick here. And that's the plane there. It was really small, so I don't really need this. I can just use the water plane in Twinmotion. So all I need essentially is this really big landscape that now I can export, and that's it. Now for the rest in Blender, you can check the Blender video courses and other video guides in the channel. I'm gonna export in FBX, and I'm gonna choose a folder that I already created in the Twinmotion video course, which I called import, and I stored all the assets that I can use in Twinmotion. So I'm just looking for here Twinmotion import and save these as landscape river. And once it's saved, and I only exported the selected object, but in this scene it's an empty scene except for the landscape. So you can also export the entire scene. And now I'm just dividing the two windows here to show you the Blender on one side and Twinmotion on the other. But let's go here, open Twinmotion, go to import, click on plus, and select landscape. Now you can work with FBX also with geometry, but if you import it with geometry, you cannot edit that. And you can only import one only landscape at the moment. So if you have other landscape, they're going to be overridden by the one that you're going to import. So if you want more than one landscape, you probably want to use geometry. But now let's just use landscape because this is like the basic one that we're going to use. So I'm going to go to import and choose that FBX file that I just exported from Blender. Now Unicode version should be fine. Up axis is fine. Smoothing, I think that's a good option to turn on. make sure it's turned on, and then import. And then within seconds, there you go. There's the landscape there, and we already have a material, which is nice. Now you can change it, you can add it. And again, this is explained in the Twinmotion video course. Just gonna go quick here and add a water plane and go to the ambience settings and go all the way down here and choose ocean and enable. So we have a nice and animated ocean water here, and we can now just change the height in order to make it a river and not like you know, submerging everything. So we can also change the landscape with the sculpt and the paint, but let me just try with another river material. I think I want something more like brownish, not like the blue of the ocean. So I think this will be better, but you can pick the one that you like the most. Now remember that to see the actual final render, you need to render with path tracer in the new Twinmotion. So that's going to be way better than it looks right now. This is the real-time render. We can do a better job also here, but it's going to be okay for this guide. So you have sculpt and paint. With the sculpt, we can change, we can edit the landscape within Twinmotion. Otherwise, you need to sculpt it and paint it in Blender, which is also possible, but I think that Twinmotion gives a really fast and easy set of tools that we can use, well, not just for the landscape, but in general. So I think that Twinmotion is going to really help you to create some outdoor visualization, landscape design, things like that. So you have a bunch of sculpting tools and also paint. So let's say that I want to, you see the overall landscape is covered with the same material. If you sculpt, it's going to automatically generate another material on the slopes. But if you want to add more, you have the possibility to paint with the painter around. So I'm gonna paint like the origins here, like gravel or sand, and that's it. So you can also paint the bottom of the river, but since it's not too visible, it's okay. And then we continue like this. We can continue to sculpt more, paint more, add trees, add people, and all the thing that we know we can do in Twinmotion. And if you don't know, just give a look to the first lessons of the course in the channel. So just to compare the two now, there you go. So I'm just gonna close all the panels here. So there you go. So we have the original in Blender that we used, and on the right side we have Twinmotion. And so I think Twinmotion does automatically a lot of things, and Blender doesn't, but you can use both. So just have a look to the initial lessons to both video courses if you like. So this will be all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to support us. If you want to support us more, join the channel as a supporter. Thanks for watching and see you soon.